Hey guys, I'm back again and I've got another Hiya Toys video for you. This time we're going to take a look at their new Star Trek figures. I've got Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Stardate 10/10/2024. We have arrived in an unknown region of space. We are somewhere between Gallifrey and Exegol at a place called Folsom 11. We've landed our shuttlecraft and have made contact for the first time with representatives of the entity known as the Galactic Empire.
Okay, so let's quickly take a look at the packaging. This is the first time that I've ever had these Hiya Toys Exquisite Mini Star Trek figures on the channel. So I thought we'd do all three at once because I do believe they mostly use the same parts. Let's see, so bubble and card back. This is how I traditionally like to see my 118 and my 375. But unlike, say, the G.I. Joes or the Star Wars Vintage Collection, it does appear to use Kirk on all the cards regardless of who is in the packaging. So as you can see here, we've got Kirk, we've got McCoy, and we've got Spock. But Kirk is on all of the packaging. They do come with different accessories though, looks like. The back of the card backs, and these are really nice sturdy card backs. But they are a bit glossy. That's why I have staggered them here in the picture here, because of there was a lot of glare coming off of them. So I thought I'd stagger them just to get that glare off. But you can see here on the back of Kirk, it is Kirk here. It is pictures of the figure. Nothing about the character or anything. This Exquisite Mini is a new standard. It's pretty, this verbiage is pretty common with all of the Exquisite Minis that they've been doing throughout the year. Here's the back of the Kirk box. Again, picture of the figure. Come this way, and then there's the McCoy. So not much to see here. It is a nice card back. Nice and sturdy. They are punched. I do like them. I'm excited to get Star Trek in this scale. I hope that eventually they will do an army builder, say a Klingon warrior, or even a Starfleet officer with no name, you know, a Romulan soldier, something like that, Cardassian. There's a lot to choose from. It looks like this first wave is all from the J.J. Abrams movie. I haven't seen it in quite a while. I do remember liking it though. I'll have to go back and see who was in there. But yeah, overall, these look pretty good. That's the packaging. Let's get them open. Okay, and I now have the Hiya Toys Exquisite Mini Star Trek figures out of packaging. And we've got Kirk, Spock, and McCoy here. And I was correct. They do have a lot of reuse between the three of them. There are slight differences, obviously, in the head sculpts and in some of the accessories. Let's go over them right now. So I think you can see right off the bat, they do all three come with a stand. This is a really cool stand, very clean looking. Does have the Starfleet symbol there in the middle. It's kind of a blue translucent, surrounded by white. Does have some legalese there. And it does have one peg. I think you can see that there. It's a little tough to see because it's translucent. They do have a peg in the heel of the foot. So the articulation for all three is the same. The stand is all the same. The connectors are all the same. Spock and Kirk actually share the exact same accessories and hands. The only difference between these two is Spock does have the live long and prosper hand here that Kirk does not have. Kirk has an extra open hand, this hand here, but they both come with a fist and a gripping hand for the one gripping hand for the left, one for the right. He's got the live long and prosper, and he has a more of a handshake type open hand. the hands that Kirk has are the same hands that McCoy has, but McCoy does have different accessories. Spock and Kirk both come with a belt that has a holster and a slot there for the tricorder and the phaser. It is like a belt that you and I would put on. It does have a little clip or a buckle right there that you just put on the figure. Let's go ahead and put it on Spock. It does fit right over the figure. It's not the easiest to get on. In fact, this is one of those things where I think once I get it on, I'm probably going to leave it on just for the ease of not having to deal with it. It might even go on a little bit easier if you can really pinch it. These are things that always are hard for me because I've mentioned this before, I have plaque psoriasis in my fingers and my hands. Actually, I have it all over, but I have psoriatic arthritis and plaque psoriasis. That's what's kind of messed up my fingers. And when the weather gets cold, it gets worse. And the weather has changed around here. It has starting to get cold again. So I'm starting to feel it a little bit more. I'll have to do that off camera because I can't seem to do it right now really quick. But the tricorder and the phaser do fit right in. It's a nice, snug fit. I will say, though, that this tricorder is so small. Once it's in there, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's not an accessory that I'll be using a lot. Let's put Spock right there. These guys, they stand pretty well. They don't necessarily need the stand, but I think it's a really clean stand. I like it much more than some of the other ones that we've got from like Judge Dredd and even the Joes. Well, let's look at the phaser really quick, see if I can hold this up for you. But it's done really well. It's in a nice silver. It does have a little bit of paint in there. I think you can see it. There's a little bit of red right there in the middle. It's pretty nice, sculpted pretty well. The tricorder, I'll try to hold this up. It is so small, guys. It's mostly black, and it has a little bit of silver. It almost looks like a little camera. It does have the Starfleet emblem. Let me see if I can, here, if I move this light. It does have, there it is, the little Starfleet emblem there right in the middle. It's so small. Whoops, and on the back it is just a solid black. But it looks like it's got a little silver in the middle. It kind of goes around it. But it is super tiny, guys. This is a collector line, so if you give that to a kid, it is a goner. But it fits really snug in the belt, and it's not going to come out, so I think that's where I'll be putting it. So these two guys, Kirk and Spock, same exact accessories. McCoy is the one with the different ones. He has this sort of satchel bag that you throw over his shoulder. It's in a black. It does have a little bit of sculpting on it. Not a lot. Little clasp there. I think you can see. Not much to it. Let's throw it on him really quick. But yeah, they do appear to all use the same buck. So he has no real place to carry his accessories. This bag does not open or anything, this satchel, and he does not come with the belt. But he does come here. I'll try to show this to you. This is so small. Again, I think this is going to go right into a bag. I think this is the pen that he administers a lot of his medicines with. It is in a kind of bronzy, goldish, copper type metallic. It is teeny tiny. It's really not easy to show you guys. But yeah, it is super tiny. He also comes, I talked about his hands. He comes with these two pieces, and I'm not sure what this is or where they go. He doesn't have anywhere to carry it. And I'm not even sure they go together. I think they do. It looks like, right, that should fit in there, but it's a really tight squeeze. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Maybe I stretched it out a bit earlier. But there's this, and I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure if it's scene specific to the movie. But it's done in a white plastic. It appears that this is the case or the holder for it. And if I can just show that to you. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I can't remember what this is. But he's the only one that comes with it, but he doesn't have anywhere to carry it or to put it on his person. He would just have to hold it in his hand. And it's a bit oversized while it's in this case, and he can't really totally hold it. Does look like I have a little bit of a QC issue there. You can see on his hand, it looks like the paint has chipped off on that pinky finger, on that knuckle. So that's a little QC issue. I did not see that till just now. I don't have that on any of the other figures, but I'm not sure quite how he can hold this or what it is. So yeah, so that's there. Even this little piece, maybe you could thread it between the thumb and the hand there. Again, it's so small. I think, whoa, I feel like I'm gonna lose it now just trying to pick it up. But now, since we went through the accessories, let's talk about the figures kind of in general. They do use that buck. Let's go over articulation because that is kind of different. It appears that they have some kind of a ball joint. I remember when they solicited for this, they kind of trying to explain how they work. And I think there is a ball joint underneath the shirt here. The shirt is a softer type plastic. I think you can see I can squeeze that. It is kind of pliable. He does have pretty good motion with this ball joint that's in there. He can bend over. You can see how he can bend all the way back. He does have a drop down hip, which Hiya, it seems like Hiya, that's the new standard with Hiya now, is the drop down hip, because the Joes have it too, and so did the Judge Dreads. But he has a, I guess it's a ball joint, but it's at the collarbone, kind of like some of the Acid Rain figures have. It appears that there's a ball joint, I think, but it's at the underneath the shirt at the collarbone, so he can get a little bit of a look up. It's mostly the tilt from the waist though that adds it, makes it look like he can look up. He can't really do too much of a down. That's about it right there, but you can see how it can kind of float. Ball hinged shoulder, ball hinged elbow, and then the Hiya Toys, and Joy Toy does this too, the ball hinged at the wrist, which I don't really care for, but they like to use. Double hinge at the knee, ball hinged hips, I should have said, which you can get a really good splits. He does have the rocker pivot ankle as well, and the boots are done in a really nice gloss black. There is a nice some buckle paint there on the buckle there on the boot. He does have the silver bands around the cuff of the shirt. Got the Starfleet emblem there. Now, I'll say, and I've kind of avoided this till the end here, I don't think the likeness of this Kirk is very close to the likeness of the actor. I think his name's Chris Pine. I think you can kind of see there. It's a little bit off. The complexion's off. The hair looks pretty good, and there is a lot of painting in the hair there. I think you can see there's a little touch of a few different color browns, but I don't think the likeness, they captured the likeness of the actor quite that well. That's for the Kirk though. The other two, I think they did capture the likeness pretty well. Spock, I think that really looks a lot like the actor. And the complexion's right. He was pretty pale. He's an alien. He's, I forget what he is now. He's not, what is he? He's not a Romulan. He's a Vulcan. And they're fairly pale guys. Got the ears, the pointed ears, the eyebrows, the haircut, and the McCoy too. I think the McCoy actually looks a lot. Again, the complexion's a little bit light on all three of them. I think it works for Spock, and even a little bit for McCoy. I think the face is a lot better on the McCoy and the Spock than the Kirk. I think they missed on the Kirk, but these two, I think they did a pretty good job. I like them. I like them. I'm glad to see Star Trek at this scale. They are modern and brought up to the standard of 2024, going into 2025. They are a solid 4 inches. The only other Star Trek figures I have to compare these to, and it's actually quite a funny comparison now, are these figures. And it's funny, these are apples to apples here. This is I believe these were the Playmate figures that came out during the movie, and this is the Chris Pine Kirk, and this is the Spock from the movie. I do have a Scotty, I don't have a McCoy. I picked these up secondhand from a toy show last year, I believe, and they are a true 375, but they came out when the movie came out, which I think, I'm not quite sure, someone could leave it in the comments below. I think that movie came out in 2010, I believe. So these are probably a good 14 years old. They still have the swivel hips, single ball hinge knee and elbow and shoulders, and a swivel at the waist. The only thing that's kind of comparable is actually the phaser. They actually are pretty comparable, and this one has maybe a few more of the paint apps than this one, but the tricorder is actually a little bit bigger, a little more paint on it. I don't know if I can, same kind of thing. It's so small. I put it in the belt here and I couldn't get it out, or I haven't taken it out since. Let's see if I can push it out here. But night and day, these figures, the technology, the engineering, since these figures came out, oh, I can't get it out right now. I can't get that tricorder out right now. But let's just do, because I think the likeness of this one is so spot on. I mean, you can see, I mean, this isn't bad, for its time, this is pretty darn good, but nothing compared to this. And this is a true 118 4-inch figure. This is a 375 inch figure. You can see he just towers over him. I mean, they don't even look, they're from different companies, different times, different everything. But we've come a long way, baby. I think that's the saying, right? We've come a long way. Let's look at these heads here. I would say, although I just said this doesn't look like the actor, it does look a lot better and a lot more realistic to the actor than this one. Complexion on this guy is a little bit darker, like I kind of imagine the actor. But you can see this new one is a lot closer. A lot closer. But now that I have this up here, the color of the shirt, actually this one seems closer to that color, that sort of yellowish mustard, than this one. But yeah, that's a one-to-one comparison of the older figure to the newer one. So welcome to 2024 Star Trek. All right, let's do a few size comparisons and we'll wrap this up. Okay, first quick size comparison. We've got the new Hiya Toys Star Trek figures here with a couple of Acid Rain figures. We've got Ratco and It's Actopotl. I'm not sure how to say that, but that's her, that's him. You could see that the scale's perfect, even if the aesthetic's a little different. These guys are way more weathered. Obviously, these are Star Trek guys. They're clean. They're in their crisp uniforms. And you can see here that they are all three of the Star Trek guys are almost exactly the same height. I think Kirk and Spock are a tad bit taller than McCoy. But otherwise, everything scales really well. All right, and here we've got the Star Trek Hiya Toys figures with a couple of Star Wars Vintage Collection figures from Hasbro. We've got the Mandalorian Judge and we've got Axe Woves, and they are a true 375, and you can see that they are a tad shorter than the Star Trek figures. All right, and for the final size comparison, I've got some World of Halo figures from Jazzwares. It is a true 375 inch line. So this Marine here, he is 375 inch, but we have Master Chief here, and he's a good 4 1/4, like he should be, at least an inch taller or so he would be in real life, I guess, than a 375 inch Marine. So you can see he towers above all of these guys. Really good scale with these. I think they work just fine with 375 and 118. Can't go wrong. I love that these guys are finally brought up to the standard of today's figures. All right, guys. So in conclusion, these are solid figures. I do like them a lot. I will say though, the belts for the phasers, they were so hard to get on. I mean, so difficult. I had to have my wife help me, and she had a lot of trouble doing it too. I don't think I'll ever take them off. They felt like they were going to, the plastic was strained to what would you call that, buckle together. I tried every which way, slip them over the top, but to get them over these shirts, it was really, really difficult. I wished it was a lot easier, but that's probably the biggest flaw of these figures, is that belt, because you want to wear that belt, you know, to have the tricorder and have the phaser. The only other criticism would be the likeness. I think of Kirk, him being the main character, him being the one featured on all of the cards. I feel like they could have done a little bit better job on there, but it's not bad. And I think bringing, you know, just like they did with the G.I. Joes, they brought up Star Trek to modern articulation, to modern aesthetic, and it's great. They're great. You can pick these up, I think, on their Amazon store if you're interested at all. The Hiya Toys Amazon store is carrying the Star Trek stuff. These are not like the G.I. Joes where they're embargoed in the United States or North America. You can pick these up anywhere that sells Hiya Toys. But yeah, great figures. I think I'm all in on this line. I would like to see some army builders. I would like to see, other Star Trek properties, like maybe the Shatner series, the Next Generation series. I'd like to see army builders. I'd love Klingons. That's where I would like to see this line go. Hopefully it improves. I think the biggest flaw really for me was the belts. I could barely get them on. I felt like they were going to break. Even had my wife help me, and she struggled with it. We used tweezers, anything we could. It felt like the plastic was just going to strain though and break off. Tried heating them up. I mean, just name the way to do it, and we tried. Barely got these guys on. We'll never take them off again. But that is the overview, guys. Please let me know what you think. If you're going to pick these up, are you Star Trek fans? Are you not? If you are, I think you can't pass on these ones. They're pretty good. I think you're going to have some fun with them. All right, that's the video. See you in the next one, guys. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.